because what I want to get into right now is kind of like all the false and like kind of fake comparisons where people want to say, oh, isn't this worse than what's my man's name? Than
Rodney King.
Rodney King. Yeah.
Why do you think remember we were talking about that on the phone before we actually had before we got on live. Why do you think they're making that comparison?
I mean, they're making that. I mean, the simple answer is they're making that comparison because they want to make black cops the new face of police brutality. And when you think about police brutality, like till this day, like even given the fact that Rodney King didn't die, but till this day, like that Rodney King incident is so notorious because of how blatant it was, the way it was caught on video. You want to talk about he got jumped by a gang. You want to talk about an actual gang beating. Like Rodney King was getting stomped out crazy. And then they all got off, which was nuts. You know what I mean? So that's why till this day, that's held up in such high regards as kind of like the worst thing ever, even though you can argue worse things have happened because there are people who actually died. But now they want to replace that with these brothers. And the thing is like what they did is no different from what we've seen any other officers do concerning police brutality or outright killing whoever the civilian is. The only difference is this time around, and what in people's eyes it seems like it's so much worse. It's not even because it happened by black officers, but when you're listening to the body cam footage, the dialect with which they're speaking with, we'll say. You know what I'm saying? Because if you close your eyes, like I'm not gonna front, if you close your eyes and just like kind of listen to the body cam footage, it sounded a little wild. You know what I'm saying?
Like World Star Hip Hop.
Yeah, it sound like World Star Hip Hop. Like, I'll punch you in your face, nigga. Break your arm, nigga. Get on the ground, nigga. Like all that type of stuff. Like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? And you open your eyes and look at the footage, like, oh, this is cops. Okay, But if you remove that from the situation, I mean, what's different? Right. What's different? What have they done that's different? Who was it? I think it was Freddie Gray. They severed his head from his like spine.
Man, that's crazy.
Severed it from, I believe it was Freddie Gray, if I'm not mistaken. They said that they did the autopsy report on him, and the people that did the autopsy report, they said his neck felt like a bag of rocks. A bag of rocks. They bro. Whose vertebrae just there's nothing natural about that. Your little vertebrae right here, right? It doesn't just shatter. You know how badly you have to get beaten,
right? And for how long?
And for how long for your neck to feel like a bag of rocks because they just shattered your vertebrae like right there, just shattered it. So we're not going to sit here and play games and pretend like what we saw with Tyre is the worst thing ever. That's just what they do when it comes to black folks in general. Right. Anybody else of all other groups can do anything. The moment we do it, oh my God, this is just unbearable. I can't take it. This is the worst thing that's ever happened on planet Earth. The moment we do it. You get what I'm saying?
Crazy.
So that's what that's all about concerning making that kind of a bogus comparison, is them trying to pass the buck, is them trying to erase the past history concerning Rodney King. Let's tuck that in our back pockets. Okay, now this is the new poster for police brutality. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, this is nothing new. This is nothing new. Now, what I'm looking for is where's the pattern of consistency regarding black police officers engaging in this fashion? Because we can see numerous videos online on YouTube that you can watch right now of white officers engaging in the type of activity that we watched those 5 brothers engage in, right? But you can't show me a repeated history of black cops engaging in that pattern of history that's been caught on film. You can't do it. You can't do it. In the age of body cameras and everything, surveillance all over, we live in a surveillance state already. Everything is recorded. Everything is recorded these days. Over the last 10 years, where is this at? Show me. As far as consistency is concerned, where? You can't. But I can show you that concerning white officers, though.
When they say that this was worse than Rodney King, do you think that is interesting that they're saying that without a complete outcome? Because like we know the outcome of the Rodney King thing and how the officers got off after even being witnessed on the camcorder video. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that that was one of the things that people thought made the Rodney King issue so just blatantly bad, because they got off and there was a full video of what they were doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Even if you like don't talk about race, right? Like even if you just say, well, look what the police did, right? The question then becomes, how can anybody assess this if we don't have the judgment of what goes on with the police officers? And right now, I think that what's interesting about it is that this is a situation where the white police officer was hidden. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I wouldn't even compare the two. This is just something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
But
There's
it's even more revealing though. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is more revealing. And like we've discussed, and I don't know if we talked about it already in the when we were discussing the white cop who had just been identified that partake in the incident initially. But like a lot of people have pointed out, if we haven't pointed it out already, what you're watching is white supremacy on full display concerning the rapidness with which these 5 officers were arrested, put in jail, and charged. You get what I'm saying? Compared to all these other incidents that happened in the past. And then you put on top of that the fact that they masked the white officer, right?
Right.
So if anything is compared, if you want to say that this is worse, right? It's worse to the degree of how blatantly racist the police force is and how anti-black it actually is. It's worse in that regard. I think it's way worse than Rodney King then, because there were other officers involved who were not black, but
Right.
they were hidden up until now.
Right.
Literally up until the father of Tyrese said something on Good Morning America. They were hidden up until now. You get
Right.
what I'm saying? So, and like I said, you look at the rapidness with which these guys were prosecuted and thrown in jail, we don't ever see that. So yeah, I'll actually admit, yeah, this is worse concerning the white supremacist aspect of it. Yeah,
Right. But now
it's
the
worse.
reason why you're saying it's worse is not the reason why the mainstream media came out and started repeating it's worse, it's worse, it's worse, it's worse, it's worse.
Mm-hmm.
Because the mainstream media is not even comparing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not
Like,
even looking at that side of it.
yeah, like CBS and ABC and NBC, CNN, they haven't even made those comparisons. They
Mm-hmm.
haven't even asked that question. Well, what's going on with the white police officer? Like nobody asked that except for, like black media outlets.
Yeah, that's it. You know, we're the only ones that have pointed that out. And Tyree's dad is the only one that made that statement too. And to me, that's one of the reasons why. And I'm not shading any of the mothers or anything like that. But if you notice in these kind of situations, when the father is around, even when he's around, which he is in most of these situations, right? The dad is always around, but they always hide the father and always only let the mom speak up. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if you noticed
Mhm.
that.
Oh
They
yeah.
always give the mother the microphone. Because when you're talking about women, they're more emotional, more in their feelings about it. And obviously the father is in his emotions and his feelings too, you know. But I feel like when it comes to the
But
man,
a
like
father's emotion is more anger.
it's more anger, and
Like you
I
know what I'm
want
saying? Like
get back.
I'm about to deal with this. And when I say deal with this, we're gonna deal with everybody. Like that white cop, where he at?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like
That's
that.
how the father that where he at. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? We the fathers and the mothers, the men and women, we don't deal with the kind of pain in that same way. The mothers more so hurt, sad, in a
Right.
severe state of emotion. And it's understood. But the father's pain is anger. And I want get back. Where that white boy at? He was there. Where did
Right.
he go? Where that white boy go? Y'all got them. You got them brothers over there, but where that white boy go? That was on camera. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And that's why they keep them tucked to the side. But yeah, man. But the comparisons are just is ultimately it's nonsensical. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's nonsensical at the end of the day. It's nonsensical. And you're gonna see more of this happen more and more often. Yeah, I can guarantee you right now, right? There'll be maybe one more incident of this nature that they'll be able to drum up concerning a black officer. It won't be as dramatic, you know what I'm saying? But they'll be able to find one before the year is up, and you're gonna see them blow that up too. and attach it to this current
Yeah.
situation,
Yeah,
and then they're
yep.
gonna like just
Make
snowball
a
it, make
big
the snow.
chain. They're gonna
Yeah,
do
make a
a
big chain.
Kyrie Kanye thing with this. Yeah.
Like you saw with the Kyrie Kanye thing. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And now you start making this whole chain. You know what I mean? That
Right.
comes about afterwards. You know what I mean? You can
Yep.
expect that. I definitely see that happening moving forward. You get what
Oh,
I'm
and they're
saying?
and they're gonna have increased scrutiny on them too, because now conservatives are gonna be putting the magnifying glass on black police officers so they can say, see, this isn't racism.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?